What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the pod. You guys know Brian. And we have here today Eric from Aces.fun. Eric, welcome.
Hey Joe, hey Brian. Honestly, really appreciate you guys having me on. I'm really grateful, and I'm sure this episode will be a great one.
Yeah, can I just say first off that when I got your message, for following the page and you titled it, well, not titled, you commented, P.S. I'm not a bot. I really appreciate that. And then you followed up saying, hey, where are you? Maybe we could do this live type of thing, because, I'm in Cali, you're in Cali. And I don't think a lot of this generation, would even want to meet in person. And most in the future generation, they're probably going to all be talking to bots. So that's why I thought to get you on there because I was like, oh, thank God, not a bot on X. That's
Yeah,
like, rare.
right? Have you guys heard of the dead internet theory?
No.
No, so that theory is like 70 or 80% of the internet is already bot activity, and with AI, it's just even getting more and more. So I think we're going to start to see a premium on proof of human content, which is why I like podcasts so much because we're clearly real people just having a nice little conversation. So.
For now, have you seen the Sora feeds? Like oh my God, it's all over my feeds now, the
Oh
AI
yeah.
Oh my God.
socials.
Yeah, it's gonna be gnarly. Is like when ads. Sorry, we're getting a little bit off topic, but you know how they're spoon feeding us ads based on their algorithms and all that stuff, and they're getting really, really good at that. Imagine what's gonna happen. We're all plugged in. They're feeding everyone's ads into Sora, into whatever,
Uh,
giving people exactly what they want to see. So I'm pretty curious. Like I'm sure our Sora feeds are a bit different. Mine are just random anime mashup fights, but I'm sure yours are entirely different.
it's like to your point, it's dialed in. It's from my friend who is a content creator, event planner. And when I saw it, I thought it was real, but it was so targeted and like it's sticky. Like I watch it versus someone else that I don't know, right? It's scary world out there. But we're here to talk about something else. But yeah, this is fun topics.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you can also use AI to your advantage, which is also why I love podcasting so much because I think AI is obviously it's really good at data recognition and pattern recognition at scale using large amounts of data. So I'm not thinking of our audience as the listeners of our podcast, be it either if it's from me or you. It's the bots that are transcribing our whole conversation. So the more podcast content we get out there from like a company perspective, the more we're going to be searchable on ChatGPT or Grok, wherever we are. So that's how I'm looking at podcasts. Hey, people are listening, bots are listening, but let's give them a good show.
Yeah, a good show we will have. I really like what you're doing because I'm actually doing a section on this at a live panel next week, which is about RWAs and ACEs, really talks about that. I'm going to butcher it, but the line that I saw on your site that I liked is Wall Street meets Sotheby's. So you tell us about Aces.fun and what you guys doing in the space.
Sure, I'm happy to. So ACEs, the best way to think of it is as well, basically you buy culture and trade hype. So it's essentially a tokenized stock market for RWA collectibles. So how it works is it's a triple-sided marketplace. So I believe in the power versus force relationships. Like a force relationship is one party wins, one party loses. That's unsustainable. A powerful relationship is both parties win. So that is sustainable. Like this podcast, I'm winning, you're winning, which is why we're doing it. If one of us were losing, I don't think we'd be doing it. So with the Aces triple-sided marketplace, it's been designed to ensure that all parties win. So there are three players in the Aces marketplace. There's a seller of a rare collectible, there's a buyer of a rare collectible, and then there's the traders of a rare collectible. So what Aces does is it creates derivative markets based on rare collectibles. So I'll use Joe as an example. I'll be the seller, Joe, you can be the buyer. Let's say I have a rare Banksy that I want to sell because Aces is coming up with a Banksy too. So
Oh,
like,
nice.
this Banksy, I'm like, oh, how do I sell it? Who do I sell it to? I have no idea how to sell this Banksy. I'm like, okay, let's list it on the Aces platform. I list that Banksy on the Aces platform. A derivative pair is created from that Banksy. So Aces slash Banksy. Aces functions as the reserve currency. People like, okay, I can bet on that Banksy. I want to buy a Banksy meme token. This is sick. So people trade that token as a normal meme token or however they want to trade. Me as a seller, I collect trading fees based on my artwork or my hype collectible, whatever you want to call it. Joe's like, this is cool. I want that Banksy. He comes in, he makes the purchase of the Banksy. Joe, once you get the Banksy, you get the artwork obviously, but you also inherit the digital community, the trading, the collectible pair, all that good stuff. And at that point of sale, the traders of your collectible, so the holders of the Banksy token, they get a portion of the profit. So me as a seller, I get trading fees. I get to market my artwork for free. I get to actually make a sale. Joe, as a buyer, you get digital assets like a trading pair on your Banksy, which is sick. and you also get the artwork, and then the traders they get paid as well. So I mean, you know the trading game. Some people win, some people lose, but if you're a holder, you're guaranteed to get some money at the end of it.
I love it. I love and hate it. The reason being I hate it is because it hits every single one of my hot buttons, which is, trading, collecting, RWAs all wrapped into one. And I think I read that on your docs is that you're hitting all the trends, all the metas. And yeah, I'm excited. It's starting off, right? We know you launched your token, but I think, starting 2026 is when the platform's going to go live, right? Is the first one in the Piaget or is there other RWAs already being traded?
So the first token is the Ottoman car. It's the cause watch. So we chose that just because
Yeah.
the buyer really wanted to sell on our platform. He's actually really aggressive. He's like, okay, we want to support you guys, but you have to listen to my stuff first. We're just like, okay. A month or so ago, we launched our token, which is the Aces reserve currency. So I normally don't like to talk about tokens just because I mean they're pretty basic, but we did ours slightly differently. So we did a fair launch. So think of like the old ICO days. So we just released the link. People could come in, they could buy the token if they wanted, or they don't have to. So what that means is there's no KOLs, no VCs, no unlocks coming up. All tokens are in circulation right now, which I think gives us a pretty big edge in terms of marketing because like no one wants to buy a token knowing VCs are just going to come in and dump on them. We were actually supposed to launch last week. So the launch last week, it was failing upwards. So we launched, we did no marketing because we're like, okay, I mean, we just kind of want to make sure it works. We launched, we had so much demand for our trading, for the CauseWatch trading pair that it actually broke our system in the sense we didn't account properly for slippage. So we're relaunching next week with a revamped platform with new, better UI. Instead of just trading with Aces, you can buy like ETH or stablecoin. So we're gearing up for that launch. Should be early next week.
Super, super interesting. And I was just curious, how did you see this as a emerging sector, or is it something already being done in the world of, the Web 2 and bringing it over here? Like, where did you see that demand come from, or are you creating that space?
Are you talking about demand for the Aces in general or the CauseWatch launch?
Yeah, I think RWAs are, have culture ingrained in them, but in terms of the derivative side of it, I'm sorry, I didn't explicitly describe it.
Yeah, no, in terms of demand. So the cool thing about this idea is the team's been working together for a while and it's just something we've all been passionate about. So it's not like we are searching for narratives to do. It's not like, hey, we're gonna do RWA, we're gonna do AI, we're gonna do derivatives. It's just something that we all wanted to do for a while, and then the space caught up to what we wanted to do. So it's a more natural fit than just kind of jumping and chasing hype. In terms of the cultural fit for the cause watch, I mean, the demand was organic. People wanted to trade that. They're like, okay, do I want to trade Fart Coin? Do I want to trade a cause watch? They want to trade a cause watch. They want to see how that goes. And part of our launch strategy is we launched on base, and the logic for base is, I think base puts us in two different. It's a good positioning. It's a good positioning play, and it's a good technical play because we've done launches in the past where we were onboarding Web 2 people in a Web 3. And if you've ever tried to explain gas fees to a person in Web 2 when they're just trying to purchase a product, it simply doesn't work. So base put us in a technical position where like gas fees are cheap, it's quick, it's easy. Like the average Web 2 person hears Coinbase, they're like, oh, that's chill. But another important thing is I think Coinbase has done the best job of onboarding. I mean, they've done the work in terms of like legal framework, all that stuff to onboard Web 2 people. And so we're positioning ourselves within the base ecosystem. So once base starts picking up and Coinbase starts picking up, we're right there. And our thesis is like, hey, because the cool thing about launching on base is you automatically get listed on Coinbase. So if you wanted to, you can buy Aces on Coinbase, which if you dealt with exchanges in the past,
Right.
it's honestly very annoying. But not only is Aces listed on Coinbase, but all our derivative tokens will be listed on Coinbase. So imagine it's like my mom, she's on Coinbase. She's like, oh, mom. Well, she already bought her Bitcoin because I made her, so she has a trust. But she's like, oh, mom, I'm thinking of buying my next crypto. What should I do with it? Well, mom, there's this fart coin. There's SPX 9000. There's any other coin. She's like, I don't care about that. I want a Birkin bag. Hey, there's a Birkin token. Let me try that out.
So I'm on your website here looking at it a little bit, and impressive stuff. I see the cause watch, awesome. Are all of these other items going to be available, or is it just for like placeholders? Curious how it all works out.
Yeah, so in terms of items available, the cause watch is the first one, and I can't give explicit names, but we have access to pretty much all of those items on there. We have some cool ones. The Banksy's coming up. We have some celeb collaborations coming up. We have some fucking when you follow the project and you see the items that are coming out after this, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But he has like a fan of cool cars, of cool watches, of cool artworks, they'll be available, and we have plenty more down the line. Just because it's such a new platform, and we know so many people in the space, and it's so new. They're like, oh, I want to try this. This is awesome. Let me try create a pair of this. So it's that what you see on the website is honestly underselling what we have access to.
I mean, there's just some absolute grails on here. I'm like a big sneaker fan and don't want to call it all out individually, but you got some awesome stuff on here that I'm kind of like, hey, when's all this coming down?
Yeah, so our launch plan is starting with the CosWatch. Banksy should be coming up soon after, but let's say CosWatch is one, Banksy is like three. The second and fourth product are also equally sick. And I mean, those are more like official partnerships are working with specific people, but so I'm not gonna say online prior to release, but once they come out, like, oh, this is sick. I mean, something that I personally want to get there on, and I will get it eventually, is I'm a big anime nerd. I'm a big gaming nerd. I'm a big Pokemon nerd. So I really want to get some cool Pokemon cards on there too.
Yeah, Pokemon has really led the RWAs this last, I want to say quarter, but cards came up and a lot of
Oh, they're crushing it.
yeah, they're crushing it. And we had on Block Bar on our podcast before. They actually, vaulted the things, and a couple of companies do. It doesn't seem like you guys are. You guys are authenticating. Can you tell us about, as a buyer, let's say, how do you mitigate risk? Because there's a lot of items on here that are they vary, right? There's a Bored Ape, which is very simple, right, to
Yeah, it's
secure
online.
and verify. But like a Lamborghini, there might be a scratch underneath the hood. I mean, walk us through that.
Yeah, so we chose not to vault any of our items because that causes a whole legal shit show. Didn't really want to deal with that. So we're working with a third-party escrow service to handle the funds, to handle the transfer of the product. So everything, both the buyer and seller, will be authenticated by this third-party escrow service. The product arrives, the seller gets the funds, and everyone's happy. So that's also why we're doing, like, if you look at cards. So I checked out cards because obviously I'm a Pokemon fan. And if they're an RWA and they're Pokemon, I kind of want to support them. So I was actually checking out their token, doing my due diligence research as a potential buyer of the token. And I've noticed that they listed like thousands and thousands of cards, which is a good way to approach that. But we're doing the slow and steady approach, meaning we're doing like a launch a week. We know the buyer, we know the seller. We've got to make sure everything works properly. And we're going for the quantity or quality over quantity approach. And with that, authenticating everything to make sure everyone gets what they need is much easier.
I love that. That curation is so important for culture and just pent up demand. I'm already like pining for, like Brian said, things that I like, right? There's a lot that I like on here. Talk to us about I have written down the Aces ratio.
Yeah, so have you heard of the PE ratio?
Yep.
So essentially, it's just a crypto degen version of that. So the private equity, the PE ratio is essentially a tool that traders use, saying, okay, the stock is worth this amount of money, the company is making this amount of dollars per each share. If that's off, that's usually a buy or sell signal. So what the ACEs ratio, it's essentially if there's a market price for each product. And then if the market cap of the coin or the market is much higher, that tells the buyer or the seller or Sotheby's or Christie's that this product is hot, and then they can use that as a tool to make better trades.
I see in some of these documents that you're talking about like AI agents or essentially ambassadors to promote each of these assets across like social chains and trading channels. Can you kind of walk me through the thought process there?
Yeah, so the thought process is we think AI is going to be the future, and it'd be cool if each individual product. So we created like a mini, and this is like V2, V3, so it's a bit down the line. But it'd be cool if we had like a mini agent, just all over Twitter, all over Reddit, like the Ottoman car, like the CosWatch had a personality, an AI personality, an individual personality, talking about it, answering questions like, oh, like you'd be on Twitter scrolling RWA and this random watch thing is commenting on your timeline, like, what is this thing? And then you comment, who are you? And then it describes what it is, what it does. Like, okay, man, I kind of want this watch. And then you can ask it any product question. And it'll answer any product questions like, oh, when was this made? How many buyers did you have? What's the price? Should I buy? Why would I buy you? And it can answer all of those. And something I want to do is I want to make sure that it relates back to a person. So, this is great. You're answering all your questions. Do you want me to connect you with a seller? And then it can create a pipeline for the seller and the buyer. Because again, like AI is great, but if you can connect it to human, I think, because AI is cool, but there's too many AI bots out there, so it's kind of annoying. Humans are cool, but they just can't scale. So I think the winning situation is if you combine both AI and humans and then you create like some sort of cyborg. So it's going to be a funnel for the products.
Yeah, that's something that's very interesting because for the ACEs ratio and whatnot, the metrics are pulled is it from the trading activity of the derivative, or is that like you mentioned, the culture, like what's being talked about out there? Because these assets, I guess they appreciate in slower time, right? And how do we kind of get like a pulse on that for people who want to trade on a frenzy, let's say, or maybe they shouldn't trade on a frenzy, but they just want to know the update of that asset.
No, I think that's a great idea. So long term, I could see the ACH ratio, and obviously, like most things incorporate like a social listening aspect where you're just kind of scraping down the line, and the more mentions you have. So that could be a cool metric for the ACEs ratio. But right now, the ACEs ratio is simply based on the trading activity. And I think this is important because, like, imagine like your Sotheby's or your Christie's, you don't get too many data points. Like, you know when it sells, it's a month coming up. You're like, okay, this thing sold for this amount. Like this item sold for $1 million. That's one data point. But as an auctioneer, as an auction house, if you can see the product prior to the sell and the activity before, that's a big learning experience for you as an auction house. So the ACEs ratio can be a data. It's just like a tool for everyone to use, including the auction houses. So instead of getting like one data point, you get millions of data points. And I think as we know, the more data points we have, the better decisions we can make, the better it is for everyone.
Absolutely. You guys have it all there in the Base ecosystem. You got AI XBT, the agent, you got virtuals, you can launch your agents there. We love Base. We had Victoria on here from
Okay.
Base.
Base is sick.
Yeah, Base is sick. Tell us about the game theory of the token, because it's deflationary, right? Because it's provide the liquidity is provided with the Aces token.
So the cool thing about this is, and actually I have a call with Virtuals on Thursday. So we've been talking to the Virtuals team a lot. The token itself, when Virtuals launched, we thought, or I mean, like our team thought they were amazing. I thought it was a good idea. And their token model was sick in the sense that all activity on the Virtuals platform created demand pressure for the Virtuals token. So we use the Virtual system as I guess as like inspiration for the Aces token. So all tokens are out in circulation. There's a billion Aces tokens out in circulation. Every platform, every new derivative launch, so that cause watch, it requires obviously cause tokens are put up, but so are Aces tokens. So every new launch will suck Aces tokens out of the system, and it's kind of like a burn without even a burn. So and not only that is like all platform activity. So all trading activity on the platform requires Aces, so that'll increase Aces token buy pressure. So the whole name of the game is like, instead of like, we wanted everything on our platform to require the Aces token, because the more movement, the more flow we have, the better it is for the token, which is better for the team, which is better for the holders, which is better for the sellers, which is better for everyone. Again, going back to that power versus force relationship.
So if we were gonna describe this to somebody that maybe isn't as in depth in the Web3 world, it almost feels like pump.fun. Well, that probably doesn't make a lot of sense to anybody. Yeah, I'm trying to think. How would you describe it to, like, if I was just going to like go and tell my dad a little bit about it and not get too in depth about like real world assets and tokenizations? How would we describe what Aces is doing?
I'm glad you asked that question, because I spend most of my time dealing with the Web2 world. So I use it's a stock market for tokenized collectible, or it's a stock market for rare collectibles that are tokenized. A lot of times I leave out tokenized. And for the crypto people, it's pump.fun / virtual / Sotheby's. But it's its own thing. But if you want to compare it to, that's a nice combination.
Okay, what I was gonna say in my head whenever I was like, "Hey, yeah, somebody not in the Web3 world," and I was gonna say if Sotheby's and Pump.Fun had a baby,
Yeah.
I feel like that's what Aces would be. But I was like, yeah, people wouldn't maybe know what Pump.Fun is, but that's a great breakdown.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah, I love it because you have the flexible narratives, but every single flexible narrative is a narrative that we are in. Exciting. The asset class, the RWAs, a lot of what people are putting on here are, of course, things that people like to hedge against inflation, right? Like people like luxury goods, fine arts, wines, whatnot. Do you have any insight on that kind of like sector in the world and how that translates over here in the world of Web3?
Yeah, there's tons of crossover, because like there's tons of crossover between Pokemon people and Web3, and just kind of happen naturally. Because if you're into Pokemon cards, there's a good chance you're into gambling. It's a good chance you're into crypto. The same thing applies with rare artwork and collectibles. So just like if you're heavy into gold, because I came from silver, but if you're heavy into metal, odds are that crypto is your place, because like, oh, hedge against inflation, Bitcoin's the next logical solution. And the same mindset, whether the people in the art world or collectible world, whether they realize it or not, they generally have that because they're like, oh, why would I even buy this? Well, I either buy this or my dollar goes down. So most people have that, like, okay, well, something's wrong. Everything's getting cheaper. This piece of artwork, this wine, this whatever, it's holding its value. That's why I hold it. And it just so happens to be something cool that they have too that they happen to like as well.
Right. I was reading that there is a benefit not only on the derivative side for, trading the token, of course, and the upside, but per sale, a percentage of the sale goes towards token, that derivatives token holder. Is that correct?
Yeah, 100%. So it's a triple-sided marketplace where everyone wins. So let's say I'm selling a rare wine. Brian buys that wine. He's like, this wine is cool. You're a token holder. You would get a percentage based on the amount of tokens, based on the amount of token supply you own. And this could keep happening. So I could sell that wine. Now I sell the wine. Now Brian has that wine. He's in control of everything. Now people are trading the token. He's getting trading fees. He's nice and happy. Then he sells it to you. You want the wine. Me as a token holder, I get paid as well.
So let's talk to the sellers. Like my friend, he has 2 closets full of whiskeys.
Yeah.
How do I say, hey, or maybe he's not the target demo, but like, hey, there's a really cool site. You should sell it because of this. Are you guys giving extra incentives for sellers? How's that conversation been? Because like for cause, for example, people want to come on you, and why is that?
It's a win-win-win situation. So you could list you could list your product on Aces. If it doesn't sell, nothing happens. But there's a lot of upside. So hey, why would you want to sell these whiskeys? This target demographic is someone who loves rare collectibles or cool things, and then they want attention to gather around their cool things. Like for example, the person who's selling the specific cause watch, they want attention on their watch, and if they can get attention on their watch, they can monetize attention. Great. So it's a win for them. Like the Banksy or the artwork, obviously, if if like you have art, you want attention around your piece, this is a great way to do that because you get that Web3 marketing for a Web2 product. Because you've seen how nuts like NFTs and meme communities get around that. Imagine centering that around a piece of artwork with a story. Because yeah, memes are cool, NFTs are cool, but like imagine like that Banksy that got deleted, like that the recent one where it got, which I think is planned, but it was like painted on a wall and then they deleted it, and now it's a cooler piece of Banksy. Like imagine a community forming around something like that, or like something I like is like Michael Jordan's or Kobe Bryant's game shoes. Like imagine if you could be part of that community, create a cult around that. So yeah, you get your trading fees, which is great. But if you want to make your artwork famous, if you want it to live on the blockchain, that's another reason to do it.
Yeah, I definitely see the world there where it would create an intense amount of hype around this asset that, is highly valuable and everybody wants to talk about it. When you give those examples, like a Kobe Bryant pair of shoes, you could just drive so many eyeballs to it so quickly. That was the whole thesis behind NFTs.
Yeah, and the cool thing is like this gives everyone skin in the game because yeah, like it's cool if like I'm a Kobe fan, I would like the shoes, but now I have a monetary incentive to promote it even further, and so you combine the best of both worlds because like NFTs and honestly, obviously I'm big into NFTs and memes, but a lot of times, okay, because I've dealt with a lot of people on Web2, and a lot of times like, can you guys be less like this? Like I, mean, I guess less cringe, but like if you can give them like something cool that they can actually rally behind and get it, and then get some skin in the game, they're more incentivized to promote that. And the more incentivized to promote that, because like people get into Bitcoin. Like I think everyone gets into Bitcoin because like why would you get into Bitcoin? Well, you come for the price, you come for the free action, but you stay for like the ethos. So like, okay, we'll buy a little bit of this. We'll check it out. Like okay, I'm not a big Banksy fan. Let me get $5 of Banksy coin on Coinbase. Well, now I have some skin in the game. Now I see the price go up. Now I see the price go down. Now I see the price go up again. I'm researching Banksy more and more, and the more you research, the better it is for the seller or the creator of that artwork. So it creates that pretty cool flywheel. And like Lord knows, like you've seen how aggressive people are promoting when they have a monetary incentive. So like now I'm selling that Banksy. I see my Banksy all over Twitter. I see people creating raid bots on that Banksy. I'm like, oh, this is cool. I didn't know you could even do this.
Yeah, it's such an interesting year it's been for crypto in general, from the administration to like everything. Pump Fund live streaming, tokens, Zora doing some great interesting things. Tell us about Base, since you live and breathe there. Like this, they say their base token's not coming out, but we think it's coming out, right? And so that's pretty exciting for the ecosystem. Yeah, I don't want to compare Zora to Pump Fund, Base to Solana, but it'd be super exciting for a Base token to come out. Just wanted to see your thoughts at that.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll give you my personal opinion just because I'm obviously not part of the Base team, but I'm in the ecosystem. I talk to a lot of people. Very chill, cool guy. So in terms of ecosystem strength, it's like, okay, I like most of the people I talk to. I found most of them to be very helpful. So it's a very united group of people just trying to help each other going out. Like I think Zora is sick, check them out. I think Base is sick, check them out. The reason we chose Base is because for the tech and the positioning factor. So like I said, like Coinbase has access to millions of users. We wanted to be listed on Coinbase. We want to be pushed by Coinbase. So like once Coinbase is essentially, I think, waiting for the market to turn around and start marketing their base projects to their users. And I think they're kind of waiting for like BNB and that hype to go over. So I think we're coming up close to that. So it positions us really well in terms of the base ecosystem versus Sol. Like one of the key factors, because obviously if you're launching a token, we're like, oh, maybe do it on Pump, maybe do it on Base. But we chose the reason I like Base is because if you look at the average hold time of this, like of a Sol user, like how long does a person actually hold the Sol? Very quick. So they were out. In terms of the Base coin, it's like, okay, well, at first I'm like, okay, seems like someone's launched a coin to make money, but hey, if the coin has utility, great. So I'm thinking of it as a stimulus package for all the Base projects in the ecosystem. So I think it's gonna be a great thing.
There's a stat, I don't remember it off the top of my head, but how long the average Solana meme coin holder holds that
God.
coin. And
Yeah.
it was something ridiculous. I might
It's-
butcher it, but it was like 8 minutes or like 1 minute. It was like in single digit minutes.
It was like ridiculously
ridiculous.
low. Like it was.
I was like, this has to be fake. That's how low it was. And it like I heard it like I didn't do any fact checking, but I heard it multiple times. And I was like, that's I mean, Solana's got some fun. There's some trench warriors out there, but I definitely know what you mean. And you bring up the Coinbase integration, and that's why we're pretty bullish on Base as well, because Coinbase, Base, they're going to integrate. We got Brian Armstrong talking about the potential of the Base token. We got Jesse talking about it. I mean, they're all working together. They all seem to have the same goal at the end of the day. And aren't all Base tokens right now available on Coinbase, but you have to use their DEX, right? It's obviously not available on the centralized exchange, but you can get access on their DEX.
Correct. So it's technically through the DEX. So I personally purchased Aces through Coinbase via the DEX, but it's one of those things like, how one of the biggest issues with Web 2 is the usability, or the Web 3 is the usability has never been there. They did a really good job on just making it seamless for base users. So like all I had to do was search Aces on Coinbase, have some USDC, and then I made that purchase. So I know that all this is happening on the back end via their DEX, so via Aerodrome, their DEX. But like my mom, when she purchased, she's just like, oh, okay, this is just buying any other token.
Yeah,
I
a
just
big
searched it.
airdrome guy right here.
Oh,
Not
Aerodrome,
gonna lie.
yeah, they're
Big
crushing.
airdrome. It was one of my best trades ever. I still remember the date, but I remember messaging Joe on Slack when Aerodrome first came out. We're talking like under 10 cents. And I was like, this looks like the uni swap of this
Yeah.
base ecosystem. And I bought a little bit, and then I just kept buying it, buying it, buying it, buying it. Now I'm like, obviously I have a bag, so everybody realized that. But they've done a great job, and I'm always in there voting on the protocols, and I love it. Like every time, actually, I locked a substantial amount up for 4 years, but I locked a pretty big portion up for a year. That came due, relocked it again, and that's coming due like this month. And I'm like, I don't want to sell it.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, like I'm so fully dug in right now because I'm with where you stand right now, where you think Coinbase and Base, this whole ecosystem is going to grow. Everything's really being powered by Aerodrome on the back end. I'm just so bullish on it at the end of the day. Tell me I'm not crazy.
Oh, I mean, you're crazy, but I'm crazy. Joe's probably crazy too. I think the guys at Aerodrome I think they're awesome. I'm wishing them nothing but success. So by extension, I'm wishing you nothing but success. But you never know what's gonna happen. But the cool thing about the base ecosystem is if you think of like base as a machine where everyone's playing their different role, they've put together like from like a bird's eye view. I think their ecosystem is extremely clean. Like everyone's supporting Aerodrome. People are like all the projects are working together. Like and it's only getting better and better because like it's a bunch of builders throwing stuff out, but as it gets more like base is Lindy, and by Lindy I mean the longer it survives, the more likely it is to succeed. And base is also anti-fragile, and what anti-fragile is it's all the chaos, all the stressors, all the bugs, all that stuff, it makes it stronger. So it's just getting stronger and stronger. And the cool thing is, like, for example, if Aces succeeds, hey, you buy, like, if you were to buy Aces right now, you're buying it on Aerodrome. So if Aces wins, you're winning. If like the Banksy Aces token goes off and funnels tons of attention towards the base ecos, so that's why base loves us, because like we have that web 2, because it's hard to explain to like mom buy Aerodrome. What is Aerodrome? Why would I buy it? Do you know what a Dex is? No, I don't know what any of this is, nor do I care. But like, hey, mom, you like this painting? You like this painting? You like this watch? You like this bag? They have a token now. Oh, can you buy it? I kind of want to. Let me mess around with it. Let me buy $5-10 worth of it, and then that gets another eyeball in the base ecosystem, which is better for everyone. They use Aerodrome on the back end, which is better for you, which is better for the Aerodrome holders. Coinbase now has a new user, which is great for them, and now she has some skin in the game. She sees the price go up, and then creates that flywheel, like you mentioned. Like I think all of us on crypto are the same. We like. Actually, there's some straight degens who just ate large bag, but like for me personally, it's like I'll buy a bit amount, then I'll do my research, and it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. We're like, okay, I bought a bunch, I watch a couple of YouTubers, I'm buying more. Now I'm more skin in the game. I just now do more research. I read the white paper, I buy more. So it's just creating that flywheel with Web2 products. So like, I'm gonna use Michael Jordan as an example, just because we have a specific piece coming up that's with a celebrity that's of that level. It's like, imagine those fans. Like, what is crypto? What is Web3? I don't really know. But I can own a piece of that shoe and make some money off of it and trade it like a casino. I'm in, they buy. Then that's a lot of new eyeballs into the Coinbase ecosystem, into the base ecosystem, indirectly into the Aerodrome system. So like again, like powerful versus forceful relationships. I mean, obviously just winging, but like, see, we're a microcosm of the base ecosystem, because like if I make Aces win, you're winning, and then if you're winning, Joe's probably winning too. So it's like a win-win-win for all of us. So, and that's also a cool thing, because I've been in crypto for a while, and some of the most annoying thing is like the crypto. I'm guilty of it too. So don't get me wrong. Like if I'm complaining about something, I'm obviously guilty of it myself. But like I get annoyed at myself when I'm out with like crypto tribes. I'm like, can we just stop and all get along? So now with base, it's like all our projects. The better Aerodrome does, the better I do. The better I do, the better Aerodrome does. The better both of us do, the better Brian does. Or Brian McNutt or Brian Armstrong, you never know. But yeah, it's a win-win-win.
You heard it here. If you want to farm the base token, which is not yet confirmed, you could do all of that on Aces. A last question for me is fractionalization really didn't work well. Like when it first came out, 2022, 2023, like everyone had to come back and make votes to sell, whatnot. This kind of gives you a proxy into that in a less risky way. But as a buyer, that's where my question is coming to. If I want to buy that cause, is it auction format? Do I just submit a bid? How's that going to work?
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought up fractionalization, because we did think about that. A whole bunch of legal mess on the back end if you're trying to fractionalize. It's one of those things that they need to work out. It just makes it. There's so many barriers for someone to buy a fractionalized asset. Like there's so many barriers for like a individual who's not wealthy to buy a fractionalized asset. It makes it nearly impossible. And we know how fickle customers are. In terms of auction price, the seller has the optionality to accept whatever bid they want, but there's a floor price. So if the CauseWatch floor price is like 200K, you put in an offer for 150, they can sell it, they cannot, it's up to them. So it's totally up to their product because they're seller, but there's a floor pricing. Hey, if the watch is 200K, they set the floor price for 300, someone hits that 300, that sell's automatically made, and then everyone wins that way.
We need the AI bot, because I need to learn how to value these things. Because to your point, I'm gonna do a lot of activity because I want the ecosystem to do well. But also I'm a sucker for just buying cool stuff like this cause, but I don't know how to value it. Like it says right there on the drop page, the value. But yeah, not this specific one, but yeah, I would like to know how to value these things. So I'm waiting for V2, V3. Hopefully V1 will come with some concierge assistance.
That's where that AI bot's going to come in. Where first off, you want to value that ACEs ratio, it will actually help you value it. Because like, if the CauseWatch market, if the marketplace for the CauseWatch is like 100 million, but the CauseWatch costs 500K, that's either good, bad, but that's a pretty important data point that you can use your own research and mind to figure out what to do with. Yeah, but that's where that AI bot comes in. Imagine you're on that Aces CauseWatch, that bot comes up via chat, and then you can just ask it any questions you want about the CauseWatch, about the ratio, about the data activity, and then you can really learn from that. Because again, if we're getting millions of data points on every individual product, then you can ask about it, and the more you can ask, the smarter it gets. And the cool thing is, like, so I have a dating app too, where it's like, it's AI based. So like one user is great, it knows about me, but if there's two users, it knows about both of us and it picks up patterns between both of us. But if there's 1,000 users, it's picking up patterns amongst those thousands of users, and it's stuff that people would miss. So that same concept will apply to ACEs. So like, yeah, like CauseWatch AI agents, great, it's our first launch, whatever. But once there's thousands of products on the platform, that's tons of data points that AI can easily scrape through and then pick up patterns that we would miss and then present it to the user to make better informed decisions.
I want it all. I want this Jordan Lobster shoe. I want this Krug. I want this watch. Give me a leaderboard. I'll be like number one.
Yeah, we want a game. Obviously, we want to gamify it. So our whole thing is like everything we do is art. So that's why our website looks the way it does. Like we had like when we were building it, we had the option to do just like a database of just lists of tokens and their whole thing. But we're like, oh, let's make it cooler. So yeah, I personally want to gamify it, but if we do gamify it, we'll make it in an artistic way that looks sick. Because the cool thing is we want it to look sick. That's our main goal.
I said last question. We're ready, Brian. I'm sorry. I'm just taking it all. I always like to ask, team members, founders, this is how do you come up with the name Aces?
So we all have a different story. Cyrus, he's a CEO. His was Ace of Base. So that's where the name Aces came up. For me, it's I love One Piece and Ace, obviously. I see you smiling. Yeah, I think it's based on Ace from One Piece.
Sweet. Cool. Well, any upcoming plans? I know you said you're not big on marketing, but is there any upcoming partnerships, collabs? You mentioned a lot already, so I don't just anything that we forgot to ask you.
Yeah. So in terms of partnerships, honestly, our product is so popular. We have inbound products now. Partnerships on whatever is about because like I think it was a thing of the last cycle where people would announce partnerships just to drive token price up and nothing would actually come of it. But for us, our partnerships involve, okay, is there an actual tangible business benefit? So we're coming up with those, and those are mainly like product, brand, like hype. Like it's mainly about getting products on the platform. So we're working with like famous artists, famous curators, famous galleries, famous owners of just a bunch of cool shit to get them on our platform. In terms of our next big news, obviously it's early next week, the launch is coming. So that's what I'm going to focus on.
Awesome. Where can people find you and tell us any other platforms you want to be reached in?
Yeah, cool. So the best place to learn more about Aces is our website, aces.fun, ACES.fun. Check out the white paper and you know the drill. If you like what you read, join the Telegram. Our ask is if you like what you read, the best way you can support us is to share a project with 2 or 3 friends. If they like it and they share it, creates a nice little positivity upward spiral.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on, Eric.
Thanks for having me, man.